You know, a restaurant's marketing is really good when I sing the jingle. I can't even remember what's on the top of my task list half the time.
I can get literally
podcast
anything in my head.
The stuff that we were talking about beforehand. Hangouts. What has worked working at a Google Apps? Yeah. Google Apps for Enterprise company it makes me want to have an Android phone.
Oh yeah.
I think that's really interesting. Only because I don't know. I don't know how many companies are actually. That would be an interesting statistic. How many companies are using Google Apps for work? And then see, of those employees, how many of them switch to Android-based operating systems? What do you think?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Would you switch just
There's
for
probably
it?
a lot of people who can't. It depends how visible the value is.
Right. Switching costs are always hard.
Well, now that is a great way to start off a Hacking Business Technology episode. Welcome! We've got Mark and Matt Hooper. And I found out, actually, this last week because I watched the last episode. You can't actually, when I'm pointing to people, you can't actually see them on the screen anymore. They took off the little previews.
Aww.
It actually is kind of disappointing because I think one of the things that really kept me entertained was what was happening, how the other hosts were responding to my insanity. Maybe we should start recording all our video.
What to see?
Too expensive.
We could get photos of each other and hold them up.
Here's Hoop's angry face.
Yeah, exactly. We'll need to do like angry. Actually, when I was in Sweden last week, there was one of the speakers who handed out, and I love this idea, but I told him I was going to steal it and make it digital. He handed out red, yellow, and green cards, and as he was stating his opinions or sharing an idea, he asked for instant feedback. So what do you think about that? You know, do you agree, or where's your team at, or how's your organization challenged with this? And they will hold up the red or the yellow or the green, showing they were in agreement with it, or, you know, true. I thought that was great. Talk about instant feedback, just looking at the crowd and keeping them engaged. I want to do it.
Don't make it digital.
Yeah, on your phone, and you hold it up, and it changes your screen red or yellow or green.
Oh, I see. A digital analog. You still need to like read it. It's not a computer saying 15,000 people like this.
Yeah, no. Still, just, you hold it up.
12 people in the audience are upset at your suggestions.
Yeah. I wonder if that would influence the decision, since his cards had red on both sides. Like if the 10 people in front of me all put up red, was I going to put up green and be the outlier?
Oh, interesting.
Just my iPad, then it's only the speaker can see it and the person can't see it on the back, right?
So you're already going to like obfuscation of data so that it doesn't doesn't influence others.
I'm already trying to eliminate the poll bias. God, I am such a loser.
No, you are not a loser, Hoop. You know how I know? Because I'd say I get your mug in my email once a week. And in my Twitter feed, probably once a day. Landesk is sharing pictures of you to everyone.
Oh, that's awesome.
Come see Matt Hooper speak, and then there's this little picture. They must think you're very attractive or something. More people will buy our stuff if we share pretty pictures.
I don't know, maybe I should do the Vanna White thing.
So yes, you should. You do that with your green, yellow, red thing. So an interesting would be to have a triangle, like a physical triangle that you could just spin and it had all three colors on them. It would make it more difficult to determine what color was showing the speaker too. Another way to obfuscate.
That's right.
Or you could have a cylinder with all three colors in the middle of another cylinder and it would... So we've been going on this series around what makes good or what makes great business technology, and I think it's an endless topic, which is sort of bad and good. Of course, good because we can talk about it forever, and I guess people in tech jobs will always have jobs because it's an endless struggle. The first conclusion we came to is that great business technology provides revenue, and I think that's actually a classification of whether it's business technology or consumer technology. And then the second conclusion we came to last week when Farah and I were on, you guys were missing the podcast. The second one we came to is that it provides a good experience, whether that's for back-end staff that are supporting some business process or front-end customers consuming some business process. And then I think Kawasaki actually hit it on the head at the beginning of this podcast when he said it depends on how clear the value is. And I think that...
How visible the value is.
Yes, I think that is also something that makes great business technology. Clear visibility of value.
Yeah. And I would add, all the way through the chain, right? Not just one bit of supporting value, but the value all the way through the chain has to be visible.
What do you mean? Like through the process or through the people?
Well, for example, technology, the value that we're talking about has to be customer or consumer or real social impact value. It has to be something more than just it provides incremental value that's passed on to the next link in the chain that supports some other greater value, right? It has to be the highest level value that's visible.
Yeah, direct value, not just like a secondary or a tertiary. It needs to be visible.
Yeah. Visible is the key.
Does it have to be consumable, though? Like, there could be a really great technology that provides value all the way through the supply chain or the value chain or through the organization. But if people can't use it, if they can't understand it, they can't interact with it.
Well, and I think that's the key. I mean, that's why this question is always going to be ongoing. Is that there are multiple facets that need to be considered when trying to find great technology.
Right.
And it's not going to be one, and if you focus on only one, you're totally hosed. Gosh, if you didn't learn that in the 90s.
I mean, look at the nirvana that Salesforce offers, right? It offers the 360-degree view of your customers, what products they purchased, when they purchased them, and then when they come up for renewal, and what services you provided to them, and what support it. And then they have all these modules to add on to it. You can even do what prospects are looking for and how satisfied they are, and everything that you would ever want in your customer loyalty and customer engagement model. I've not ever met a salesperson who said, "God, I love Salesforce."
Right. They hate it.
And I never met a salesperson who says, "I can't wait to get my data into Salesforce so that I can have a better engagement with my customer."
Right. So, I mean, you could argue that that's just not value then, right? I think...
Well, it's not value to them. It's not valuable to the users of the system, right?
And is it devalued because it's not valued to them?
Well, it's less accurate because it's not valuable.
Yeah, because they're not updating it, right?
Right. The value comes to the marketing person. The marketing director who says, "Show me all the customers that bought this tool."
Okay, so I think that still fits into what we're saying. Visible value has to be visible to everyone, or it's not great business technology. It might be good,
right?
But you're missing a layer then, for sure.
Well, and I think what's missing in Hooper's example is sales process. I was on a Forrester webinar this week. Well, don't say that out loud too fast. I was on a Forrester webinar this week where they talked about quota, sales quota, and a lot of companies do this. You sell $2 million worth of software, you get 10% or whatever. And they said, cut that in half and withhold the other half, and the other half should be based on their social reach and the accuracy of the data in Salesforce. I thought that was brilliant, right? Like that's a way to show them that the company values it so much that they're willing to pay you to get it accurate.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you're a consumer or user of that.
Gamification?
Go ahead.
Is that a form of gamification?
Yes. It's incentive. I don't want to use that term.
But wouldn't a great technology, wouldn't a great business technology be so intuitive and fun to use and addictive that the level of techno-empathy you have with it would be just through the roof, right? You can't wait, you can't not go check it. And if by that definition, email has then become our greatest business technology because we have people so heavily addicted that you cannot go but a couple hours without checking your email.
But that's an abuse cycle. That's not because they're happy to be doing it. They're doing it because they don't want to be killed by email.
I think the point is, like you're saying, Hooper, if you have to provide an external incentive outside of the technology itself, then you're exposing limitation. It could be baked into the product or into the...
It's a risk.
Yeah.
Huh. That's bloody interesting. Don't you think that at some point...
Like, I'm sorry, just real quick, like with a bigger tool like Facebook or something. I mean, you can't incentivize users to like things. They either have to do it because they want to or they don't. It's either built into the experience or you lose it, period.
I'm trying to think, like, from a sales rep's perspective.
Yeah.
How could I possibly make Salesforce so fun or so je ne sais quoi, whatever, that I am like, I'm fidgeting to get my data into Salesforce. I'm not sure how that would work.
Well, you're solutioning it there, though.
I think you hit it on the head, though. I think it's a little bit of gamification. I think you have to find some incentives in some ways, but but it can't be artificial. So, for instance, like in Salesforce, if I added data to a particular opportunity, for instance, if it started to show me my probability of close ratio on the deal size and factored what my commission check was, it showed me that just by adding that data, my probability just went up and my commission just went up. So you're not directly paying me, but it's showing me that I will get paid because I'm following the process, or this is the stuff that's making a difference.
Dude, that's awesome. What you do is what I would do is I would categorize or bucket the sales person's responsibility, right, by territory, let's say, and then your territory like ranking goes up if you get better data. Who's squeaking in the background?
Sorry, that's my cat.
Categories, Baron. Categories.
But I was going to say there's other methods as well. I mean, you're trying to get the data accurate in one method, but it could be that you somehow have the customers update their own data or pull it from other sources. I mean, there's always ways that value can be provided.
Well, the reality is that people do pull it from other sources, right? They go to discover.org or discoverorg.com. They go to all these sites to find, like, especially in the IT space, they're like, I'm going to buy 1,000 CIOs' email addresses and I'm going to import them all into Salesforce. They'll be prospects. We'll send them stuff, and
they'll open my emails. They'll click my call to action, and
they will do none of that. None. Especially in the IT space, right? People don't want to be marketed to an email, but I think it's not a short step to take to go from that to saying, listen, you could put this data in there, you can manage these people, but don't send them emails. Go and talk to them, and then when you do talk to that person, you market it in Salesforce because it makes your territory look better and it makes you look better, and then your quota percentage goes up annually, year over year, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Or just come up with technology that's so great that you don't even need leads and they all come running to you, right?
I think. Well, that's bloody interesting
Well,
too.
look,
I think even
right.
the best companies still want more.
I mean,
Yeah.
Atlassian doesn't have a sales force, yet they sell Jira in their Confluence product and HipChat and everything. There's no salespeople.
But they use Salesforce,
Yeah, maybe.
right? I mean, they're still tracking people.
Well, they're tracking leads. But I'm saying that that they, to Mark's point,
Yeah.
you build a great technology where people want to come buy it.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, look at this. I always think of the State Farm versus Geico difference, I mean, State Farm puts a salesperson in every corner of every city, and Geico has a few in corporate handling the whole nation, and that's great business technology that offers the same value, in a different model that saves a lot of money.
Well, you heard it here first. That's where the world is headed.
Yeah.
No more sales reps.
No more sales reps. Is that a marketing shift?
Yes.
Is that a marketing shift away from the fact that people are now educated? They don't need to be sold.
It's a buying shift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a technology adoption lifecycle shift. No longer do people need use cases to say, I will check out this software. Instead, they check it out. They try it first.
I was thinking about that when I was at the HDI conference. We talk about conferences since we started the podcast, what, Baron? 2009, right? So it's one of these things, are they worth it? And it's still, it's still, I love being there. I love the energy of the conference. The conference won't exist without the sponsors. There's no way that HDI could have held this conference without the exhibitors. Not that that's how they treat them, but if
UBM.
Yeah,
UBM does it.
UBM, not HDI. But you look at it and say, is this worth it? Is it worth the return on investment? And that's the big focus. Marketers now are under big pressure. They're getting big money for technology spend. Like we use Marketo and a bunch of video monitoring tools that watch how long people watch our videos for, and all this tracking and analytics, and those are expensive tools. And events are expensive. Putting that all together, now the ROI is going to be there. So you gotta wonder, is it better to educate people?
Yeah, that's tough. It's really tough, and it's going to be tough for an industry to shift to that method too, right? Mm-hmm. Where vendors aren't just shilling their wares; they're providing research. They're bringing the people to the conference. Yeah. Some companies get it really. Pivotal does this really well by just doing their own thing. They just do their own conference. Mm-hmm. User voice, same thing. I don't know. Pretty curious. So, what did you think of HDI? Did you catch some good speakers, good prezos?
I didn't go to any of the sessions. I just did a expo hall only pass because I was in the booth.
Isn't it weird to see Gerard with hair? Every time I'm like, you're not bald anymore.
Yeah,
he's that guy.
His shot. His balls were falling left when I beat him in basketball.
Dude, I saw the picture. He got 7 and you got 90.
It looks like that, doesn't it? I'm gonna go with that.
It does look like that.
7 and I was 91. Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't look right.
I don't know.
I feel like maybe we need some governance on this.
I think maybe Gerard just flipped the clock and it went over 99 back to 0.
No, the score was actually 50-49 to go on record for my boy.
You only won by 1.
He wasn't decimated. He just lost.
Oh.
Does it help that Lamdesk has 50 products and Cheryl only has 1?
I don't know. Doesn't help me. Talk about competing for mind share.
I did want to take a moment to talk about your ITO post on LinkedIn because I found it extremely entertaining.
It is a laugh riot. You know, it's really got me thinking because it's so funny. I laugh because I fell into the exact same mindset that so many people are posting on my blog. Like, you can't blame ITIL. It's a framework. It's a best practice. It's a blah 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 blah. And I used to be like that. Like when people would say, "Oh, ITIL doesn't work," I'd be like, "No, it does. It does." And I defend it, and I just see some of that same like visceral reaction to my posts and people trying to, beat up my claims or whatever. And it's just like, listen, there's a definition that we can all agree to with words. Or we can say, you know what, words really don't matter, and we can just make them up. Like I could say I love you, but I really mean I hate you. We can do that if we want to do that, but I'm not sure that that's going to promote our professionalism as an entity industry wide and globally. Right? I'd rather us come up with words that we all agree to make sense and are human, and we can work on. And I'm not saying ITIL has to go away. I'm saying it has to stay current. And my post was very simply. I started picking apart different things like incident management and the restoring service to normal operation. And I gave a couple of examples. Like if you just took that and ran with that as guidance on best practice or as a framework or whatever you want to call it, because it's neither best practice and it's neither framework. It's neither one of those things, but that's what he calls it, which is fine. If you took that and ran with that, there are scenarios where if you just did what it said to do, you're not really getting the outcome you're looking for.
Right.
Yeah.
So we think that, like, if I lost my phone, restoring service to normal operation is buy me a new phone.
Yeah.
But the business outcome is well, wait, we gotta stop that phone service. We gotta wipe it if possible. We have to make sure none of your data systems were compromised. Then give you a new phone.
Or ideally, get your old phone back.
Or ideally, get your old phone back. Right. I mean, whatever the scenario is the it's not about the process, or it's not about the methods or the practice. What it is about is the intent. And my whole thing is the language we use, such as customer and service provider and all these other ancillary language, causes us to be disconnected. And and it's so funny because I'm reading all these posts about people vehemently defending it, when everybody who's using this language are the same ones that I'm reading the CIO magazine posts and all these things saying, you need to speak the business.
Yeah.
So you have this dichotomy where you have all this leadership track on IT to be successful says, do not isolate yourself. But you then have all these people in our ITSM space who are promoting and supporting and defending this isolist language.
Well, people are still convinced that it's just a people problem, that ITIL itself is not the problem. But what I think you're saying and what I think people need to realize is if you have ITIL as a framework that you go by at your company and you're even at a maturity level 4 or 5 and you're doing it as good as it could possibly be done.
So you work at one of these two companies.
Yeah. you even then will no longer have a guarantee of success being in IT. Right. Because it's all based on something that is no longer as relevant.
You're so spot on, Mark. I'll read just one, and I was a little bit sarcastic in response to this guy, and I shouldn't be like that on my blogs, but I just laugh. It says a narrow article lacking breadth of real-world ITIL adoption, business outcomes of what leaders focus on, and managers asked to implement using procedures. You can't blame a framework that doesn't prescribe to that level. Many organizations have successfully transformed IT to have procedures that focus on the business outcomes. And I look at that and I say, all right, and I look at this guy's profile, clearly experienced, been around the block, but real-world ITIL adoption? So I wrote back and I said, that's a great one, LOL. Name one company who has real-world ITIL adoption. Mm-hmm. And what it comes down to is, and it's like the constant rhetoric in all of these comments is, well, you have to adapt it. You have to make it your own. You have to. Well, if you have to make it up, then do you really need a framework to begin with?
Right.
Yeah. But I mean, you're not complaining that ITIL doesn't have real-world procedures. That's not your complaint either. And they think that that's what you're saying. So they're not even really hearing you.
They're not hearing me. Even though I said I'm not an ITIL basher, and one guy he's like, clearly this person's never implemented ITIL, and I just said, listen, dude, we're on LinkedIn. You can actually look at my profile. And so I'll repost my LinkedIn profile again for you.
Dude, Hooper, you're not making friends on the internet today.
I don't care. But in my defense, I put at the end of it, I said, I'm not here to bash, promote, or defend ITIL. I'm here to promote IT professionalism and to keep people from becoming so irrelevant in their current roles that they're no longer of value.
Yes.
And I feel that the words that we're using and the language that we're speaking is going to make us that if we don't.
Yes.
I don't know. I mean, I think it might be more useful these days, instead of trying to show people what business technology and innovation will get them in addition to ITIL, it might be more useful to start working with the business and show them what ITIL can get them on their crazy innovation.
Oh, like take chaos and apply order.
Yes.
Don't try to build from order.
Right. Don't try to innovate within a restrictive order anymore.
Yeah. That's a really good point, Mark.
Yeah, that is really good. Good summary, Mark. Actually, you should have a LinkedIn post
Yes, you should.
about this stuff.
I should.
I think Hooper would probably comment and bring along all of his trolls. Now that Hooper's the ITIL troll.
Yeah, I know. All of a sudden I became the IT skeptic. Happened.
You can just blame me and then pass them all over to me, and then I'll re-blame you, and we'll pass them all,
Yeah.
Well, just remember, when you're hacking business technology, ITIL doesn't work. You do.
Ooh, yes.
You work. No one else can hack business technology but you. And that's this episode of Hacking Business Technology. We'll see you next week for episode 89.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
And then you have to click stop.